Welcome to Around the World with Dede, the show that brings you the world's dishes right to your doorstep. Today, we're visiting Japan. You know, that country that brings you the most reliable automobiles and the insane samurai soldiers. Yeah, we'll be making okomiyato, loosely translated to how you like it fried, along with some ramen, and then we'll be making some sushi. We're going to be starting with okomiyato. What a mouthful, hey? Japanese ingredient always has spring onions. They love their spring onions. It's something that they always use. Here we go. Ready? So once you got that chopped, put them into our bowl. Then we've got green pepper here. So we want to get the green pepper in check. Once we've chopped the green pepper, just want to then fine chop it, just, you know, roughly. Add that in there. Ginger. So here we go. Ginger slice. So trick, when you cut ginger, you want to cube it. So I'm getting it to a cube so that it's easy to handle. A bit of chili, can't do without heat. You know? So we're gonna just put some chili in this bad boy here. That gives it that heat element, you know, that little bit of, depending on how you like your heat, you can take out the seeds. If you want it to be a bit milder, you just, you know, remove the seeds. You want it to be strong, leave the seeds in there. So that feeling. Our friend. Now this is minced garlic. You can get anywhere. You can just use normal garlic as we normally use the garlic. Not too much of garlic, same with ginger. They play well together. Garlic and ginger, they have such great harmony together. So yeah, now what we're gonna do, we wanna add our flour, egg, a little bit of your water just to loosen up a little bit because it needs to get a bit loose. It needs to get to almost the consistency of pancake. That consistency of the pancake batter, we want that for this dish here. So we're here. You don't want to get it too light. You also don't want to get it too runny because it has to fry and it becomes a solid. Now, obviously, we haven't added any seasoning in here. There is no salt in here. So what we're going to use in place of seasoning is our fish stock. So fish stock is very pungent. It also gives it that beautiful smell, that fishy smell, because we're going to be using fish as one of the protein element in here. So a little bit, it's very strong, so be very sparing of fish stock because, hey, so you add that bad boy in here. We want to just include the protein bit of it, which is our fish here. This is some beautiful smoked haddock. It's a fish that you can leave, and actually when you buy it, you can keep in the fridge for long. It preserved very long. It has got a very sharp, salty taste to it, so you don't really need that much sodium. That's why I was very sparing with our fish sauce. So we just want to make just a few very thick slices because I want you to taste the meat in the fish. You know, it needs to be those meat chunky bits of it. So put those in there, some smoked sausages. So we just want a few slices of these. Great stuff. The objective is to get the pan really hot, like we call it screaming hot. You want the pan to be very hot so that you can do this really quickly. Nice things. Let's add a bit of oil. You add the sausages. There's the sizzle. While that's still going a little bit. So we want to render the fat from the pork, and we want to get the smoke element out of the pork. Ah yes, the smell, intoxicating stuff. And then I want to make, instead of one big cake, I want to make little knobs so that it looks like flapjacks of this. So I'm gonna make a few. Make sure that you have all the ingredients that you put in there. A bit of the fish, a bit of the green pepper, a bit of the chili, a bit of the garlic. Just land them on top of these two. See, they're covered. Now I can get these guys here too. Cover them too. There we go. There we're rolling. Oh yeah. Just flatten them out a little bit because they're quite chunky. Now, you can see that the batter is very dense. So you easily can roll the oil around it. so that it can solidify the batter. So now all you want to do is just move it around so it doesn't stick to the pan. Once you've got that, that means that it's starting to get brown and crisp up beautifully at the bottom. Look at the beautiful colors from the sausage. Look at the beautiful color from the haddock. And just that beautiful golden, ooh. You know, so you keep flipping it around to make sure that you don't burn it. You don't want it to burn. You don't want it to also overcook. You just want it, the batter, firstly you want the batter to cook out the flour. When the flour is cooked out, you will start to smell it. To us South African, you know. So here, we're done. Let me switch off the stove. Now, remember those top parts that we didn't throw away of the spring onions? They're gonna form part of our garnish. They're really beautiful. They also add a nice bit of freshness. So we wanna just slice them really thinly. So I'm just gonna add a bit of this soy to my mayo. And then mix. It almost looks like a frit. So you put it right there in the middle of the plate. You're just gonna take the dressing and pour it in between. You pour it loosely, just doesn't matter how you want to plate it. You know, it's your dish. You do what you want. And then you just take the greenery on top of the dressing just so that they can make that pop. Take a bit of that soy just for a dark element, salty element. Not too much of it, you know, just dip your spoon in there so you can make a few drops in there. And there you have it. Haddock and smoked sausage okonomiyaki, how I like it fried. Just a bit of that sauce in there, get a bit of that mayo in there. Guys, after the break, we're gonna be making some of that ramen. Welcome back to Around the World with Dede. We're still in Japan. We're about to get into the smoked pork chicken ramen dish. So now what we're gonna do is that we're just gonna start with the prep, right? Prep is important, the most important part of what we're doing. So we're just gonna take the chilies out the way, make sure that we can get the chilies nice and chopped. Because it's something that cooks and boils for a long time, you don't have to be really perfect about how you chop them. Just roughly just go through them. I showed you guys one way of cleaning ginger. Now let's do the second way. Make a nice incision here. See, skin gone. Another one, skin gone. Another one. So every cut allows you to move a lot of the skin out the way. Ginger is not only tastes good, makes your food very aromatic, but it also is very good for you, and it's got a lot of good properties that they use in ginger. So we've got all these things that are there. Now we're gonna just chop some more of the sausage because we're gonna need a lot of it. We want that flavor to build. We want it to just be bold. There we go. Let me put this bad boy here. Great stuff. Let me just switch on my stove. Now, in with the oil. Don't be surprised about the amount of oil because we're gonna be doing this and we're gonna add a lot more liquid in here, so it's gonna come up, it's gonna be a little bit more than you need. So this oil is really gonna disappear into the pot. That's perfect. Come now. Ah, yeah. While that's starting to just sizzle away, I want to quickly add garlic. Ooh. Add my garlic in there. Can hear the sizzle. Guys, it smells beautiful in here. Remember guys, what we're going to do with the stock is very important. Stock, you need to rehydrate it, simply meaning that you mix it with water, hot water, so that it can loosen up and create this brothy liquid. I'm gonna add both stock cubes, see, there they are, and water. Make sure that the water is boiling so that this period can come quick and it can melt the stock cubes quicker. The salt pot, first element of the salt pot is the fish stock. It goes in there. It's a lot of the stock that went in there because it has to support not only the meat bits, it also has to support the noodles when they come in later on. Right? Let me just cut the chicken, okay, it's into little portions so that it's easier to present. Leona, we drop it in there. So here, a little bit of the soy sauce. The soy will bring that color, that little bit of depth into color that we want. Now we're gonna let this go down for about an hour before we get to it. Now, this has got a bit of a boil in it. Now, let's check it out. Oh. Now we're gonna add a little bit of sugar, a little bit of brown sugar, add sugar for balance. Get my pan on. So what we want to do now is just dab a little bit of oil. When it starts dancing in the pan, it'll let you know, starts floating, breaking up, it'll let you know that I'm ready for you. A bit of garlic that we have left, we didn't use all of it, so we want to add that in there. Let's just get the garlic. Chicken is ready for us. So, put the chicken in, just roll it in the fat a bit so that, remember when you move stuff that you're frying in your oil, it creates that film underneath that allows it to not stick at the bottom. And we want that. We don't want it to stick anyway. We just want it to be really nice and golden. Flip it over. Look at that beautiful color. Now, it's going to be a bit of a splash fest, so we're going to add some soy for seasoning. But as the soy cooks in, there we go, it also starts to thicken. You see the bubbles that the soy is making, those bubbles there, that's the caramelization, that's the sugar in the soy. So as it does that, it just caramelizes and it just goes in everywhere, it just wants to be part of this whole thing. I'm using soy sauce because soy sauce here gives me that salty flavor, you know, that salty garlicky flavor. Fry the chicken 5 to 10 minutes on each side till brown. While that's happening, I'm just gonna start prepping with our garnishes for the remainder of the dish because this is almost done. Look at that. You can smell the pork, you can smell the smoke, you can smell the garlic, you can smell the everything that we put in there, the spring onions, you can smell everything that we got in there. It's just, oh, that smells incredible. Let the broth boil for 30 to 45 minutes. So we're gonna quickly go through the garnish elements. Just chop them finely. Beautiful chop. The beauty of using an open flame is that it allows you to do this. You know, you can just simply separate because here the cooking process almost stops and dies down. So that nutty burning smell goes away. But here I still have that oil that has all the flavor, that has all the sodium, that has everything that I want. Look at how the chicken is turning beautiful. See these brown stripes, these dark, deep rooted brown ones. This is just show you that it starts to get veiny. The flavor is getting in there. It wants to be part of this bad boy here. All right, I think it's time we can remove the chicken. Fantastic. Ah, yes. So now we're gonna let our chicken rest a little bit because like steak, you wanna cook it and then let it rest so that you can bring all the juices back to it. You don't wanna cut it just while it's still hot. Remember, you cook it for 3 minutes, let it rest for 3 minutes. Right, we're here with the plating time. Remember guys, you eat with all your senses. You want to experience food in all dimensions, you know, so that you smell it, you taste it, when you see it. So when we plate, we want to make it look pretty. So take your time when you plate. So now we're just going to get into it. We just want to make some nice incisions here, some nice cuts. You can see that juice, that's one. Remember, you can see here, it's nice and juicy. It's not dry. It's not bleeding. It's important to cook your chicken all the way through. Salmonella is a real thing, guys. So a ladle, a spoon. Somebody says these spoons are Chevilan pudding. So yeah, just get the broth in there. Look at that. Look at that beautiful broth. So everything is gonna come in here. I just wanna first layer the broth. Now, check out our noodles. They're moist. So all you have to do to get your noodles like this, just dip them in hot water. Let them soak for about 20 minutes, you know, or less. And then once the water cools down, drain the water, your noodles will be ready. Now, we want to introduce our friend, the noodle. Look at that, a little bowl. Oh, sorry. You want to have enough of them because look at the amount of broth. They have to carry all of that. And then some more. Mr. Broth. Oh, the smell, guys. You guys need to be here. We're grabbing the chicken, laying it down right there. Ain't that pretty? And then our spring onion that we chopped earlier. Now we got this bad boy here, but we're not done yet. So now we're gonna scoop parts of this sausage here. Chicken and smoked sausage ramen, garnished with spring onions. A bit of this. Let me get some of that chicken. Guys, I feel like I'm in the streets of Tokyo right now. I just think I'm not doing you guys justice. So don't forget this. Try this out for yourself. It's very easy. Everybody can do this. Cooking is not intimidating. Cooking shouldn't be something that scares you. Let's link after the break. Next Alibis, you know. When we come back, you know, one more dish. Some sushi, baby. Welcome back to Around the World with Dede. Now, we got the best for last. I mean, this is one of my favorite things to make, one of my favorite things to eat. We're about to make some sushi. Sushi, as simple as it might look, is a bit tricky because it's got a few of those pressure points that people don't really look out for. Number one, get the right rice, like the right rice, like just the sushi rice. That's really important. You know, the grain is important. It's got just enough starch that it seeps out. It's got everything that you need for it to bind. And also make sure that you've got some good quality rice wine vinegar. That is what will give it that beautiful flavor. So start with season your water. So once you've seasoned the water, just make sure that you then get your rice in there. See, the ratio of water to rice obviously is ridiculous. What we want is we want the rice to start boiling, and then as the water reduces, because you don't rinse out the water, you want that starch to remain in there, because that starch is what ultimately helps it binds. I mean, so you just let it boil, let it boil. This takes about 20 minutes, normal cooking time of rice. When the rice is all cooked through, then you will know. Then when that is done, you add your vinegar when the rice is still warm, not hot, piping hot, but warm, you know. So we have rice ibe warm nyana, and once it's warm, then you add your vinegar. Once you've got your rice starting to boil, which you guys can see here already starting to boil, the starch is starting to form here at the top here. So these little white clouds, that's the starch that's starting to peep out of the rice. You want to keep that in here. For this particular dish here, you want to keep the starch because the starch helps it bind. You won't taste the grittiness against the starch where it rubs up against your teeth like friction, because the vinegar loosens those elements there, you see. The beautiful thing about rice wine vinegar, I don't know if you guys can see it, it is not as translucent as I say nyadi chips. I say rice wine vinegar, yadi chips here. Very different thing. This one's very fruity. It's got those nice sweet elements to it. So what you have here is something that will just give it that nice flavor, and also that season the rice more than just the thingy, the salt that you've put in. Now, after 20 minutes of boiling, you let the rice cool down a little bit. Remember, just drop the temperature a little bit, your rice in there. So when you're done, just add your vinegar. Once your vinegar is in there, it's there. This is perfect. It's cooled down. It's even now. You can handle it with your hand, so it won't burn you. So it's really almost time to start getting our sushi ready. Next element, now, rispanaga, that's salmon. So we want to make really beautiful slices of salmon. Just get those nice cuts in. Make nice long strips of salmon like that. Right, now we're just about to get to that part. We're assembling our roses. So this is what you're gonna do. You need just a small bowl of water, you know, just so that you can wet your fingers, with your palms like that, you know, get them real wet, and then get into that rice. Just boil it a little bit, not too much of it. See, so you just boil it into like a little sphere shape, and then you lay it out there. Just cover everything, cover all parts of the salmon with it. Just roll it. You have to persuade it to stay in. But there is the first rose. Put it down there. There we go. There's our second rose. Oh, salmon rose. Whoa! It's one of my favorite things to eat. Very healthy food, very, very clean eating. I mean, considering that you put some vinegar in there, you've got all these beautiful tastes in there. Can't go wrong. Oh, it's breaking out, but hey, there we go. Then when you're done, porfella, this is that Japanese mayo. Drizzle this bad boy there. Oh yeah, I want to be generous with the mayo because I love me some mayo, you know what I mean? There you have it, sushi salmon rose, topped with Japanese mayo. There's our soy, there's our salmon, roses. I'm about to go in, this is my favorite part. I could not wait for this one because I love me some salmon. So let's tuck in. Oh, baby. Catch me next time on Around the World with Dede, when we'll be visiting some of your favorite countries, exploring some of their favorite cuisines. Let us know what you want us to cook, who you want us to see, what country you want us to cook with or visit, so we can bring to your doorstep. You know how we do it. We'll bring you the best dishes, some of the most risky dishes of the country, you know, a little bit of the history behind the food, because food binds us, you know, food tells the story of us as a people. So yeah, thank you very much for being here with us. Been real. Cheers.